Okay, thank you everybody for joining us. We are joined by St. Joe's, who has advanced to the quarterfinals to face Dayton tomorrow night. We're joined by head coach Billy Lang, Xavier Brown, and Anthony Finkley. We'll open up with a statement from coach, take questions for the student athletes, and then questions for coach. Coach?
Just a wonderful opportunity. Just praise God for the chance to coach these guys and compete. And the people that he's put together here, and to be in D.C. and playing the nation's capital and the Atlantic 10 tournament and an NBA arena, it's just such a blessing. So, we got to keep competing, and we're grateful that we get a chance to play again. We're grateful that we had a chance to compete against Salle. They're a great opponent. They're tough, so they sharpen us a lot. And we got great guys. So I'll let these guys talk, and I know you'll have questions for me after.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. Please say your name and affiliation and direct who the question is to. We'll start here in the front.
Aaron Bracey for Big5Hoops.com. Anthony, what was different today than Saturday?
I don't know. I feel like we came out ready to play. I mean, it's a bigger stage, so, I mean, every game's important, but, I mean, we know it's at risk here.
I would say the same thing. Saturday was just, we made a lot of mistakes on our end. So it was very good for us just to see it. We're lucky, like, it was mistakes that we made, and we knew, like, we could fix it, and we're just grateful to have the opportunity to fix it. And, like, it was pretty cool to play the same team, like, back-to-back. So, like, why not try to win on a team that you just lost against? But we were just grateful for the opportunity.
Right here in the front on the left.
Marcus Larry, WVCW Sports. You're up 20 points at one point. LaSalle goes on a 17-1 run over about 4 minutes. How were you able to stay in there and not let the run kind of discourage you?
I mean, we practice close games and close situations in practice. I mean, we've been in close games a lot of times this year, so you can't really, like, think about how you got there. Just stick in the moment, stay in the moment, and try to just dig yourself out that hole. I mean, they made tough shots. They had really good players, but we just try to stay in the moment, had that next play mindset, and just focus on what was in front of us.
I would say the same thing, and making free throws, I would say that was important for us, and, like, getting the ball and not turning it over.
Second row on the aisle.
Xavier, Jonathan Tannewell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Xavier, what's it like to play a team 4 times in a year and have to try to do something different against them?
It's crazy, especially a school that's 10 minutes from your school. Like, it's just funny. I mean, it's a great battles. Just historically, LaSalle, St. Joe's have been having great battles. I've grown up watching them, Big 5. But 4 times, that is crazy. But, thankful we just got the win tonight.
Third row on the aisle.
George Templeton, Rams Rewind. I just want to ask you guys, when you see another team throwing up some absurd shots and they're going in at the end of the game, how do you not get caught up in it, or how do you just sort of like maintain your composure? Because, I mean, that last 4 minutes, LaSalle's throwing up shots, and it's just, how are these going in?
Like he said in the beginning, like, we work on that stuff like every day in practice, like end of the game situations and just not panicking. It's March, so I mean, crazy things happen.
I would say the same thing. I mean, everybody has good players. Everybody's playing at this time for a reason, so good players make good plays. So sometimes you just got to pat them on the back, but it's all good.
Second row in the middle right here.
Owen Hewitt with the Philadelphia Inquirer. For either of the players, you guys are both Philly guys. What does it mean to play in the last game that Fran Dunphy is going to coach?
I mean, I guess that's like legendary, I guess. I mean, I feel like we owed them one. Like, they beat us before, so.
I would say it's super cool. I've actually known Coach Dunphy since I was in 3rd grade, just going to the summer camps. So we've had a good relationship. He's always been pretty cool to me, just speaking to me. I remember I saw him in October, and he was like, what did he say? he was like, every time we play you, I hope you play good, but I just hope you lose. But, you know, friendly competition. But I'm just happy for him. Great career. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Aaron?
X and Anthony, what do you remember about the game at Dayton, and what do you think you need to do this time around differently?
Definitely come out ready to play. That's a good team. I remember we came out slow. I mean, that's the goal, not to start off slow and then just keep it going and keep momentum.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Great team. So we just have to, I mean, I know we'll come ready to play. So we just have to be ready. It's a great opportunity.
Okay, you guys are good to go. Thank you. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow. Questions for Coach? We'll start second row aisle.
Billy, I'd love to analyze the game, but I first want to know what you and Fran were talking about in that long embrace post-game.
I just told him that I loved him, you know, and, you know, I grew up in southern New Jersey. I was an assistant at Bishop Eustace Prep, and guys like Fran Dunphy, Phil Martelli, Bill Hurrian, Steve Seymour, Stevie Donahue, who was Dump's assistant, Coach Lapis, Coach Cheney, Dean Demopoulos, Speedy Morris, you know, then Jay Wright. Like, these guys helped me get going. They didn't need to do that. That's why, like, every time a Division III coach or a high school coach emails and asks if they can come to practice, I say yes literally every time. I don't care if it's the day before the national championship. It drives my staff crazy because we got people in there. But you have to remember, like, none of us get here without other people sewing into us. We just don't get here. And he was my first person that interviewed me, you know, and then he was the person that called Herb McGee, he and Stevie Donahue, to help me get the job at Philadelphia Textile, and that was my chance to get into college. And he recruited one of our guys when I was at Bishop Eustace, and I just love the guy. I think he's everything that a coach should be about. You know, he cares about the community, he cares about his players, he's committed to their development. You know, he's an ambassador. He wants other people to do well. Like, that's not really what our business is like, right? Everybody wants each other to not do well, and he's always raising every boat. I just think of the world of the guy. So I just wanted to tell him that I loved him. That was it. And that I was glad we didn't have to play LaSalle anymore. It was like more than the Rocky sequels, it felt like.
Further questions? Aaron? Front row.
Billy, what did you like about the beginning? Well, I guess the first, 37 minutes of the game? And then what happened there in the last 3 minutes?
I mean, you know what happened. We missed layups. They made shots. Like, you know, at that point, you're down 20. Like, those two guys are really good. And Corey got going. He was like Marvin O'Connor was in a game against LaSalle. I think it was in the early 2000s. And that just can happen. I was really pleased with the layup attempts that we got. I thought we took good shots, that we missed them. Other than the one turnover on the baseline, I was pleased how we broke the press. Just the whole, and I think I've been talking to you about this. You see, like, the people that have not seen us just ask the same questions. There's just the resilience. There's just the steadfastness about the group. And, you know, I'm big on, like, you know, little message architecture. I tell these guys all the time, no ego. No ego. It's competitive. Don't want the game to end. Like, just keep going and going. And that's the beauty of having guys that continue to come back, is they hear those things. And, like, that stuff does not surprise me. I'm really, like, pleased with what we did to stay in the game. And then we made some errors. You know, there were some defensive coverages that we should have switched. We didn't. We went under him a few times. You know, we didn't get the ball in bounds quickly one time when they scored, and that, like, gave them a chance to set up, and that led to the turnover. But other than that, I was pretty pleased with what we did. And they're good. Like, that stuff can happen. There's a reason why LaSalle's good. Everybody's playing well right now. Everybody.
Go to the front row.
Not so much about the game that just happened, but UMass earlier, they played their or I believe it was yesterday, they played their last game in the Atlantic 10.
Yeah.
You've been in this league for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
What's that going to be like without them here next year?
Well, I mean, I think that it's sad. I mean, our AD, who's on the women's committee, the selection committee, texted me last night that she saw one of our former players in the hotel that they're staying at, and the kid plays at Oregon. She's in Indianapolis. So I forgot that Oregon was in the Big Ten. I'm like, what is he doing there? Or why is the women's selection committee out in Oregon. And, you know, this thing is moving around so fast, whether it's good or bad, who knows? It's just different, and we got to all change with it. But when you think of, like, the Atlantic 10, and you think of Temple, you think of Xavier, you think of UMass. I mean, those are programs that put it on the map. You think of St. Joe's, you think of LaSalle. And I just think now we just have to think anything can happen. You know, so we'll miss them. We'll miss Coach Martin and his competitiveness. But if they get Marcus Camby or Lou Rowe again, I'm glad they're in another league, you know. You probably don't even know who they are, right? That's how old I am. Go ahead.
Second
I need
row.
to say Derek Kellogg, too, because I know him. He'll be upset if I don't drop his name now.
It's in any given game, I'm sure you like it if you have a talent advantage. What on earth is it like to scheme against the same team 4 times in a year,
Yeah.
especially with that coach on the other side of the
Yeah.
floor?
Yeah, I mean, there's a great familiarity. You know, the thing about, let's just take the coaches and the players out. Just institutionally, it doesn't matter like who the coaches are and who the players are. LaSalle St. Joe's is a fist fight. It's a rock fight. It always has been. And I worked at LaSalle for a year, and I know how bad LaSalle loves to beat St. Joe's, and I make sure that our players know that, you know. When I was there, we won twice, actually, both times in the Spectrum, which no one knows what that is either. And I just know how competitive the game's going to be. So, number one, it's like you have to be ready to compete. So I thought we did a good job rebounding tonight. We had 19 offensive rebounds to their 11. And then we did a few things differently than we did last game. And look, all the stuff that we talk about, like coaching, it just comes down to, like, they make shots. Like, if McKeithen made those shots early in the game, like, whatever we did wasn't working. And so I just think, you know, when you play a team that many times that you're that familiar with, you understand the history of the institutions and the rivalry, it's all really about the competitiveness. You got to try to win as many competitive areas in the game that are non-obvious as you possibly can.
Back row in the middle.
John Titel from Hoops HD.
John.
Today you were the team with the bye facing the team that already played one game, and then tomorrow you'll be the team who's already played one game. I was curious, from your experience, is there an advantage to having the rest versus the rust versus the bye versus not?
I like the rest versus the rust. That's really good. It's good alliteration, too. I think that I can't tell you because I've never been in the situation Dayton's in, so I don't know. You know, I have no idea. I know we've played 2 games. A few years ago, we played 2 games back-to-back last year, and we're going to have to do it again. So this is all really that I know. You know, this is all that I know. And here's what I think. I think that every team right now, I really believe this, for the most part, like 90% of everybody's playing their best basketball. That doesn't mean that they're winning. It's just everybody's familiar. Look at the scores of these games and how high scoring they are. Everybody's playing really, really well. So really, I'm glad the game's at 7:30. We have to recover and rest. Dayton's phenomenal. I mean, at one point, they were a top 20 team in the country, and then they had injuries, and our league's really good. That's why we need to get 2 or 3 teams in. I know no one will write that or agree, but it is the truth. And I don't know. You know, we're in a rhythm. I'm glad maybe we got some of this out of our way. But, you know, I'm sure Dayton feels pretty good that they're rested. I'm sure.
Any other questions for Coach?
All right, guys. Thank you. I'll take that.
Yeah, you can. Okay, we are now joined by LaSalle head coach Fran Dunphy and student athletes Corey McKeithen and Andres Marrero. We will start off with an opening statement from Coach Dunphy, take questions for the student athletes, and then questions for Coach.
Appreciate everybody being here this late hour on a Thursday night. Proud of these guys. Proud of the two guys to my left. They're just good people. Great to coach. Had a great time doing that. All these guys, all 16 of them, took me for a nice ride, and very appreciative of that. So we had some good thoughts in the locker room afterwards. It's one of those things that who knows what's going to happen. Dre's got another year left to play. Corey's going to go off into the world that will be out there for him. Hopefully he'll get a chance to continue to play basketball. And but the good people, so that part hurts. It stings when you come upon this last game, and the emptiness is absolutely staggering. Absolutely staggering. For me, on a personal note, I'm good. Appreciate what I've been able to, the opportunities that have been given to me. It's been ridiculous, to be quite frank. Nobody should be this fortunate. And then I had a phone call this morning from one of my good friends, Gary Williams, and told me about John Feinstein passing away. And so that, I had to reflect a long time today on that. Took a nice long hour walk and just kind of reflected my butt off of what life's all about. And that was a really good guy. And he became a really good friend. And so I'm sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry for all of that community that lost him. As prolific a writer as there is, I think the guy could have, he wrote novels in a 2-week period of time. I can't think of anything unless it's way longer than that, but he was just terrific in everything he did. He became a good friend, and I'm sorry for that loss for our community, basketball community, the sports writing community. And one of his good buddies, Dick White, said he was a great novelist, but he was an even better reporter. And I think in that world, in all of your worlds, that's a big deal. You can report the story and tell that story the right way. So I'll be melancholy about that. I will be grateful to these guys to my left and all the other 14 of them for allowing me to coach them for this year, and Dre for 2 years before that. And then all of those guys that played for me at Penn and at Temple and here at LaSalle, I thank them profusely. So as far as the game is concerned, St. Joe's is a really good team. And, we made a great comeback, and it was fun to watch these guys do what they do and have no quit in them. That part I'll be forever grateful for. But St. Joe's has a chance to make some noise here in the Atlantic 10. And, we watched them play a lot over the years. We watched them play a lot this year. 4 times we played them. Kind of insane. But it was a privilege and an honor to coach against them. And, it's a good group of guys, and I wish them well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. Please say your name and affiliation and address who the question is to. Who would like to start? Second row on the left.
Jonathan Tannenwald of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Corey, when you're on such a heater as you were during the comeback, what's in your mind? Sometimes the guys, there's nothing in their mind, they're just playing, but what's in your mind when that's going on?
I just want to win. That's all. I just want to win. That's it. The only thing going through my mind is winning.
Aaron in the front.
For both Andres and Corey, Andres, you've been around a while longer, but Corey, this was your first season. What did you learn, both of you, from playing under Fran Dunphy, and what are you going to take? What lessons will you take with you, whether it's basketball or life, from Fran?
Since it's my first year with Coach Dunphy, he taught me a lot of things, like from on the court and off the court. But the main thing that stood out to me was, like, it's not all about basketball. Like, you have to be a great person off the court for you to succeed in life, no matter what. So that's one thing I can say that he taught me.
I honestly couldn't ask for a better coach than Dunph. This last 4 years, I had a coach my freshman year. Then Dunph came in, and it wasn't all good in the beginning, but we built a great relationship, and he just teach me every day on and off the court, like Corey said. And one thing that I'm always gonna take with me from him, it's be the same person every day, on and off the court, because people are expecting you to, be the same person, be you, and I think I'm always gonna keep that with me.
Second row in the middle.
Owen Hewitt of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Dre, what does it say about this group that you guys are down 21 and you kind of mount a flurry to bring it back to a game in the second half? What does that say about this group of guys?
This group is very special. I mean, we had our highs and lows during the season. We can remember in the Big Five ship, Jalil didn't play because he got something going on, so he didn't play. So he wasn't there. Then we had a lot of people getting hurt, a lot of people going out, a lot of people missing, getting sick. But what I love about this group is that we always were together. We always were, and I will say that off the court more than on the court, we were together, and I think it's very special. I feel very special to be part of this group. It was never quitting on us. We always want to keep going. If we can keep playing till next year together, we would. We love each other, but I mean that's under the leadership of Dunph. It's not just us. It's the way he coaches, the way he treats us, the way he is with us. It's just like our pop, our grandpa, our pop. No. No respect. I love Dunph. But yeah, he just give us that. He give us that vibe. We respect him. He respect us, and all that we want to do is take care of him the way he take care of us.
Further question for the student athletes? Okay, thank you both. You're good to go.
See a little bit.
Okay, questions for Coach Dunphy. We'll start.
Fran, one of John Feinstein's favorite subjects to write about was the Big Five and the lack of an equivalent in this town. And when you have the opportunity, as you have a number of times in your career in the A-10, to take a Big Five matchup onto an A-10 tournament stage and therefore a national stage, what does it mean to you to, even if the game is a little stressful, as it often is, what does it mean to you to put a game like that on such a spotlight?
Yeah, it is very special. And the schools that LaSalle and Temple I was associated with in being in the Atlantic 10 together, it was fun. It was fun to play a city game in the Atlantic 10. And I think that said a lot about the conference itself. The conference is really good, really talented, tremendous programs. And so I'm very proud that I had a chance late in my career to go back to the Atlantic 10. But there's nothing quite like city basketball, and Philly is so unique that way to have what we have, and now we have Drexel in there too. So there's 6 teams in this Big Five. There's nothing like it. And the reality is, though, is that D.C. and New York and Chicago and L.A. and every big major metropolitan area can't do what we did because we did it in 1955, and it just fostered, and it lived on, and people still respect it greatly. And I respect all the relationships that I've had with the coaches and the administrators and everybody who is a Philly born and bred coach and player, and just a special place. And John was one of those guys that really, he was as big a non-Philadelphia supporter that we've ever had. And Dick Weiss and I had a bunch of discussions about perhaps making him an honorary Big Five Hall of Famer, because he was the guy that tooted our horn tremendously. He would have liked to have seen what we do at other big major metropolitan areas, but it's hard these days, and the game has changed, and it's just the way it is. But John was one of our staunchest supporters, and he was great to celebrate Philly like he did.
Aaron.
Brent, it seems kind of fitting that your team would battle back like that in the last 3.5 minutes. I asked the players what they would sort of learn from you. How would you like people to define your career? How would you like to be defined as a coach for your career?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Aaron. I don't really want to hold. You don't need to talk that much about me or any of that stuff. It's not that. I'm so bad at all this. I just appreciate the fact that I had a chance to do what I did, and to be connected with 3 great institutions and coach for as long as I did. It was fun. It was a tremendous ride, and the competitive piece was awesome. But I think that what I'll take away from all of it is having these guys be on a team and sacrificing for others, and not have it be about you. It's about your team. So I was grateful that they made the comeback that they did. It would have been nice if we weren't so far behind. But and then Corey was making shot after shot. It was a bit insane. And then Deuce threw one in there too. So, but I was proud of them. I've been proud of every team that I've ever been associated with, and certainly these guys. I am very proud of it. But for me, I've been the luckiest guy I know. So I've had all my kudos over the years just by being a part of it, being a coach.
Owen, second row.
Owen Hewitt with the Philadelphia Inquirer. What does it mean to you to hear Corey talk about being a person first and a basketball player second up here on this stage after that game?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot because, again, I think he's a mature kid. He's right at the top of our maturity level on our team. He gets it. He allowed me to bust on him, and he gave it back to me a little bit, as I mentioned the other day. And but yeah, it's what you want to get. It's the message you want to get across to these guys. When we're in that 2-hour span at that 94 by 50, there's nothing more important than that. And then when it's over, if you gave it your best shot, then let's walk away and be the best human that you can be, the best teammate that you can be. You had your chance. For all of us, we had our chance, and our season went as it went. And I've had way more than I deserve in terms of my chance. So, but it's great to hear that. But I'm not surprised by it because he's a good human being.
Go first row in the middle.
Marcus Larry with WVCW Sports. Billy Lang and Xavier Brown expressing their relationship with you and how they've known you for a little while. Just tell us about that.
Well, Billy's father was a high school basketball coach when I was a high school basketball coach, and I respected him greatly. I recruited one of his dad's players and when I was at Penn. So I've known Billy a long time, and I appreciate any comments that he made. I'm guessing they were real positive, and that's great. And X is he's a special kid. I can remember being at a high school game and standing in the end zone of up against the wall, and all of a sudden this young kid comes and stands beside me, and I said, X, what are you doing here? And we had like a 15-minute conversation, and that's not easy to do as a high school senior, 18-year-old kid, but he's got this personality in his way, and he torched us in that first half. He was dynamite. Not that he was soft on us in the second half, but we were really worried at halftime, the kind of game that he was having. So I think he's a terrific young man. But all these kids, they're good people. They just want to be coached. They want to be mentored. They want to be guided. Sometimes they send you a message that might differ with that. However, in the end, that's who they are. And long time ago, I was one of them. And I couldn't do what these kids do today. And I won't go on and on, but we had a Coaches versus Cancer thing we had, and we went up to a Hope Lodge in Philly, and we grabbed food to bring to patients and their caretakers. And I took a couple plates, and right behind me, every kid went up and sat down and had a meal with these people that are fighting the fight. And I couldn't have done that when I was their age. I'd have been humming, trying to have a conversation. I would have been so uncomfortable. But they get it. They get it. They understand that. So I think there's great hope in youth of America today, and I'm grateful for, again, those guys being with me for the year.
Jonathan, the second row.
Among the many other aspects of things is you have a coaching tree that is fairly vast at this point. One of them might win a national championship this year, the way things are going. Some of them are candidates to succeed another branch of the tree in a job that you once had. To look across the sport and see, in the high school level too, there are branches as well, to look across the sport and see all of that. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's important, I think, if the message got across that how lucky we are to be in these jobs. You know, you coach these kids, and then while you're coaching them, you're given this platform that you can try to do good work outside of the basketball world. So all these guys I'm really proud of all of them, and I hope that they find the mentoring is as important a job as we have, educating and mentoring, and these guys are doing a wonderful job of it, and they're, you know, again, I'm blessed to have coached them, and now to watch them mentor and coach and teach is pretty special, so grateful for that.
Go to the back.
John Teitel from Hoops HD. I went to Penn in the early 90s, and you're a major reason I love this sport, so thank you so much for everything you've done for it. My question, during your hour-long reflection today, I was wondering if you had any epiphanies about how you're going to live your post-coaching life and or any life lessons for the youth for the future.
Well, I mentioned it the other night. I'm going to hopefully go see Swan Lake, and I'm also hopefully going to go to Normandy, and just that'll be emotional in and of itself to experience that. But I'll do a lot of those things. I want to hopefully the LaSalle community will allow me to continue to teach, maybe teach both semesters. I only have done fall semester. I love getting in the classroom, talking management and leadership type things, and I'll just be available for people. I'm not a very good no sayer, so I don't anticipate saying no to anything that would come along, and I'll live each day with as much enjoyment and hopefully helping others as I possibly can. So that's my thought. Play a little golf too.
Go here on the aisle.
George Templeton, Rams Rewind. You were part of the staff at LaSalle when you were assistant that had the National Player of the Year, and LaSalle was nationally ranked. You had all the success at the Ivy League and the A10. Just your thoughts on the state of basketball and just how it's getting tougher and tougher if you're not in a big conference to get the opportunities. And, you know, is there concern about, because you've got so many great programs in the A10 like you've talked about that are making major investments, but it's like, it feels like all of us are kind of fighting for table scraps a little bit. And I just want your thoughts on, you know, the state of college basketball in terms of that.
Well, I won't delve too deep into it, but, you know, we're in a very interesting spot, and I've said this a number of times. I don't know where we're headed. It's going to take 3 to 5 years, I think, to center itself as to where, you know, there's not this constant portal action going on, and listen, we're in free agency. There's no salary cap, and at this point, we still don't have the governance that we need to figure out what we're going to do. And the thing that I worry about a little bit is, and I'm okay with guys making money. I got that. It just, I don't know that we're teaching the right lessons, because when we were young, we would, you know, you graduate from college and you'd sleep on somebody's couch or get a ratty apartment with 3 other guys, and, you know, and then you made a little bit of money, and there was this progression that you had. Now you may be given a boatload of money, and then your college career is over, and then that rug is pulled out from under you, and there's a regression. You go back to, what are you going to do? Start your own software company the next day, and you know, I'm not sure we're teaching the right lessons all the time. But that's why I think when you're in these jobs, you sit down with guys and talk about all of that. If you are lucky enough to get some money, then take care of it. And think about how lucky you are, but take care of it and do good work while you're doing it. And we talked about it at the end today. Like, you know, the money is temporary. The relationships and the partnerships and the good work that you do will last forever. The money will go, and it'll be spent. And hopefully these guys are getting some good guidance. That's a big thing for me. But I think we're in an interesting time, and you can complain about it if you want, or you can do something about it, and you can try to be the best that you can with what you have, where you are, and that's the only thing you can do.
We'll take one last one.
Tristan Freeman from Best in Brackets. Coach, there's a nice variety of the coaching experience throughout the A-10. Just curious on your thoughts on the Drew Valentines, the Drew Joyces, and Tony Skins of the world, and just not just of the young A-10 crop, but just overall coaching from the younger generation.
Yeah, I think these guys are so much further ahead of where I was when I was their age. Ridiculous. But there's so many more opportunities for guys to be good, and those guys you're talking about, the young people today are terrific coaches, and their teams play well together, and they play hard, and they have a plan, and so I'm real proud of them, and so I'm jealous of them too, jealous of what they can accomplish in their coaching careers and the work that they can do as well for a lot longer than I'll be able to do. But I think, I think these guys are really good at what they do, hard to beat. You can't just throw your stuff out there and hope that it works. You got to have a really good plan. I think today's world where everything is so film driven that you can watch everybody do what they do and have a plan of attack that can be pretty good. And those guys are doing a really good job at it, that you just mentioned. And so I'm proud of them.
Coach, thank you for
Okay,
all
thank you,
you've done
guys.
for the Atlantic 10 and college
Appreciate it.
basketball. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.